Hello, it's Phil Thatch, and I'm on the back porch with the back porch blind, and we've modified it a little bit. The original version had the back about 1 inch lower than the front over here, and it wasn't draining very well, so took the roof off and cut 2.5 inches off the height of the back. So now it's 3.5 inches lower, and bought a completely new tarp to go on the top, and this time did a much better job stretching it to where it lays flat instead of wrinkly, which should also help it drain better. And also, the previous tarp, I kind of put it on kind of equal on all sides, and that made the front of it hang down to about right here, which did work for shooting out of it. But this one, I put it back further so it only hangs down to here, and I also put it over further, so on this side, which we also will do some shooting out of towards the backyard, especially I've got some stuff planted that should attract birds later this summer. Did all of that, and also with I removed that tarp and I placed it, I cut it into pieces, and I've got it protecting the particle board that the blind is made out of. So that should make the blind last a little bit longer. And then we reapplied the net. You can see my camera's still here. Heather's already gone in, but we did some shooting, and I'm going to share that with you now. Trying out blind version 2.0, and so far so good. First thing we saw was a Caroline Wren. Here are my Caroline Wren shots. This was a feisty little bird, and we enjoyed photographing it, and it was the first bird that we saw when we got into the blind after we had worked on the blind, and then we went and had lunch and got back home and got into the blind, and then we made photographs of this beautiful Carolina Wren, and this is on a new perch. And we saw quite a bit of the Carolina Wren. Here are Heather's photographs of the Carolina Wren, and you can always tell her photos because they say Heather Boyd in the bottom right, and my photos don't have anything written right there. But she was really happy to get so many poses of this bird. She described this bird as spunky, and she was just really full of smiles as she was editing these pictures because she loved all the interesting poses that she captured. And here is the Carolina Wren on our new perch, which I'll show you that new perch a little bit later in this video. Then we saw a dark-eyed junco, which we've seen out here a number of times, but not while we were in the blind, so that was cool to get dark-eyed junco shots. Here is the dark-eyed junco that we see out there all the time. This is probably the best dark-eyed junco shot I've ever gotten, and this is Heather's. This is her first dark-eyed junco shot she's ever gotten, although she sees them all the time too. Oh, and look, Heather got another Carolina Wren photograph because she loves that little bird. Then we saw a dark-eyed junco that landed in the Leland cypress. Here's my shot of the dark-eyed junco in the Leland cypress, and look, there's a cardinal bokeh-fied in the background, and here is Heather's shot of that same dark-eyed junco. You can't quite see the cardinal in her shot, and oh look, Heather got another shot of the super cute Carolina Wren there on our back porch. I cut down a tree that I wasn't fond of in the yard, and I put one of the logs from that tree on the railing, and I hollowed out the top of it and put a few seeds in it. Some of the birds have been landing there. Still sticking with basically the same perches. That's a piece of redbud tree. Still have this feeder out here. Still have our favorite perch, this little branch that's up on the porch. Got a suet feeder here. Still using this little area. This is new. Cut down one of the trees in the yard and put this little log up here, and I took a drill and I opened it up to where some seeds can fit in the top, or maybe some bark butter later. But right now I just put some seeds, and we did manage to get some pictures of some birds up here on this. Here is my mockingbird photo on one of the older perches that we've had out for a while, and next up is the mockingbird on the new perch that we're pretty happy with so far. And next up we'll take a look at some of Heather's photos of the mockingbird, first in the Leland cypress. And next up we'll see her photograph of the mockingbird on one of the perches that we've had for a while. And now her mockingbird photo on the brand new perch that this is our first time shooting it. And we got Carolina Wren on this perch as well. A lot of times we're getting photographs of the birds not on the porch, but in the Leland cypress behind our perches. Mockingbird, junco, and male house finch. Here's my photograph of the male house finch, just beautifully perched there in the Leland cypress, just a few feet behind our regular perches. And then finally a tufted titmouse showed up. Here's my tufted titmouse photo. We both managed to get one good enough to share. This is one of my favorite photos of the entire video, and here is Heather's photograph of that same beautiful and cute little tufted titmouse. We love these little birds. In the yard, not on the porch, I have another wrought iron device, and on the top of that wrought iron device I have a little branch attached that goes up in a few directions, and I moved it closer to the porch and we were able to get some shots of birds on it this evening. Finally some cowbirds showed up, and then a Carolina chickadee. Here is my female brown-headed cowbird shot, and it's on that perch that I was just showing you. And next up is my Carolina chickadee. That's on one of the perches that is actually on the porch itself. And next up is Heather's photograph of the beautiful female brown-headed cowbird there on the perch in the yard. Okay, that's going to do it for us from our newly updated and modified blind. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell. Thanks a bunch. We look forward to hopefully seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye from the back porch.